Well, welcome to Paranormal Unplugged, where we're back again. And I have two co hosts with me tonight. And we have Susan and we have Pam
Hello.
with us. So we also have an audience member. Where is he at? He's
I'm in the cave.
He's in the cave. He's on the other side. We stuck him on the other side of the cave over there tonight. So we have
Stuck in the cave.
let's see if I can get the cave up and running.
Don't worry about me.
Lynn.
Loni.
Loni Lynne, excuse me. Loni Lynne. Loni Lynne is a
Yeah.
writer.
Yes.
So we're going to bring her in right now and welcome Loni. There she is. How you doing
Hello.
tonight?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you all doing tonight? So good
We're
to see
doing
you.
pretty good. There we go.
Good. Good.
So would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure thing. As you said, I'm Loni Lynne, and I write paranormal romance. Some people ask, what is paranormal romance? Well, you all know what paranormal is. Ghosts, witches, anything, paranormal, metaphysical. And my first book that I ever wrote is called Wanted One Ghost. And I really enjoyed writing about it because I just enjoy writing about the paranormal and the different aspects of it, and getting an idea of the history behind the stories. That's my main thing, is that I love the history behind the stories of the paranormal characters and some of the stories that we hear about when we go on ghost hunts and on investigations. It's so much fun to hear just the history on that. So I like to write about that.
So
Sorry.
So that's okay. So basically your books are based on other stories that you've kind of collaborated into and put a twist to them?
Yes, actually, my Wanted One Ghost was actually, I did an actual paranormal investigation down in Georgia, down in Savannah, Georgia. I was on a ghost tour. It was my first ghost tour. And I was thinking to myself, what if the ghosts were actually listening in on these ghost tours, and what would they actually be saying? And are they all true? All the stories that they're being told, and what if they were like, no, that is not how I died, you idiot. So my ghost in Wanted One Ghost was like, he was so tired of listening to the same stories being told about his death and how he died and everything, that he was just like, he wished that somebody could hear him and understand that, no, this is not how he died. He did not die this way. He was actually murdered. And, he was just trying to prove to people that, he wasn't a traitor, and he wasn't, all this stuff. And but finally somebody heard him, and he was like, whoa, you can see me and hear me? Wait a minute. That's not, I've been dead for 235 years and now somebody can hear me.
That is neat. Good.
That is very cool. I'm actually going to buy your book today. I have to go home and do it. It won't let me do it on my phone.
Oh, I know. Do you do ebooks or?
I do. I buy them on Amazon, but I have Audible, which you said
Okay.
that you're working on.
Yes.
But,
yes.
But yeah, I'll buy it on my Amazon app.
Okay. Yes. Wanted One Ghost is going to hopefully be on Audible this year.
Nice.
I wrote it 10 years. Well, it's been 11 years ago. And I've always wanted to do, the Audible, and I've always kind of put it off. And now I'm like, nope, this year I'm going to do it, because everybody asks me, oh, do you have your books on Audible?
Mm-hmm. It's so much easier, especially when you work or you drive a lot. A lot of people listen to it while they're driving.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I get that a lot. And I'm like, no, I don't have it yet. And yeah, I just have to bite the bullet and do it this year. So that's my next goal. So,
Nice.
So what got you into writing?
I started writing, actually, I was about 13 years old. And of all the things that I wrote, my teacher had us writing for a Halloween contest for the local paper. And I did this very macabre, very Stephen King type short story. there was no happy ending. There was no, they all lived happily ever after. This was just a macabre story that I wrote, and she sent it in, and I won. Back in the day, I won a $50 savings bond and 2 tickets to the haunted house.
Nice.
But I was
Cool.
the only person. I was the only person in that county that won for the school system.
Very cool.
That's
So,
cool.
are you more inspired by the history, the romance, or the paranormal, or is it all combined?
It's all combined, but the history is, I've always been a very big history buff, and I love the history of the area. So Wanted One Ghost, the town that it actually takes place in is a fictional town that I created called Kingsmill, Maryland. And it's basically any of your towns around here, small towns, large towns, but they have the history of the basically Western Maryland area. Mm-hmm. So I have a lot about, like in the first book, he's actually the founding father. He was from Britain, from Great Britain, and he had started a mill. And of course, the town became known as Kingsmill. And there's some history and a little bit of mystery behind his demise, if you will, that all stems from what we know of the history of American history and stuff a little bit in the area. So there's little parts and pieces that combine with the American history of the Revolutionary War period. It's actually pre-Revolutionary War. So there's some of that involved in it, but what I love about it is the time change. I mean, she's a modern day, basically historian going to research the founding father, and she accidentally brings him to life. So it's that whole romance between the two time frames that I love so much. And, having somebody from 230 years ago come into a modern times and try and function in a world that he has no clue about how to function in. I mean, there's one scene in my book that a lot of people really like, where he's taking a shower and he's looking at this soap and he's like, what am I supposed to do with this? It says wash, rinse, and repeat. And he's like, I don't know how many times I'm supposed to repeat, but okay.
That's funny. And how many books are in this series?
Now, this series right now, I have 4 books. The latest book is basically, I have Wanted One Ghost, which is the first book in the series. The second book is one of his friends that she was the tavern keeper or the tavern waitress at the time. And she has some interesting situations that happen when they try to dismantle her tavern.
Oh, I bet.
And that's followed by Unsettled Graves, which is another minor character that has her own story later on as she's doing some research. She's researching the Civil War up in Gettysburg, and she accidentally brings a ghost home. And she has to help him try and get back to his time. And then the 4th book is, I have some unique characters throughout my series. They are the mother, the grandmother, and the aunt of my main character, April, in my first book. And they are all, they practice in the metaphysical arts. They help in solving a lot of the cases and help her in finding her true gift, which she has the gift of psychometry, which she touches things and she can get an idea of the history of the artifacts that she touches, which she accidentally brings a 236-year-old ghost to life. So that in itself is kind of an interesting thing to do. But each of these stories in this last one, The Chronicles of Kingsmill, are with the mother, the aunt, and the grandmother. It's Grandma Dottie, it's Aunt Vicky, and her mother. They're known as the Wilton women, and they're quite mischievous characters, and they're kind of humorous, and some of the things that they encounter, and they're all short stories that I've written about various ghostly encounters. And one of them in this book actually takes place at one of our frequent places that we like to go to, the Stonehouse Urban Winery here in Hagerstown. They were kind enough to let me use them as a guideline and do a story there with them. So I do have a story in there that's an actual place.
Nice.
So
Now, do all your books intertwine? That series, do they intertwine with each other?
yes, they do. Now, some people say, do I have to read them all in the same order? It's best to do that so you don't find something out before you're supposed to.
Mhm.
So I do recommend going in order in them. The last one, not so much, but it helps. And because you get an idea of who the characters are and some of the cameo appearances and stuff. But they do all interact with each other. They a lot of the characters from the other books come back into play and have cameo appearances or have other appearances that they need to be there to help out the other ghosts. So they're kind of a close-knit family, if you will. So I've really enjoyed writing these characters because as an author, and most authors will tell you this, that your characters become part of your family because they become so real to you after a while.
Are you in the process of writing a book right now?
I just finished writing. Actually, I'm reworking the last 2 chapters, but it's a contemporary novel. And I'm not used to doing contemporaries, but I started a novel about 15 years ago that was contemporary based on my military background. And I thought it would be kind of cute to do that. So I did step out of my paranormal realm and go into a contemporary for this one.
Very cool.
Is there a time period that you're wanting to do next after the contemporary is over?
I am wanting to go back into, I have another series that I have out. It's called The Guardians of Dacha, and it's paranormal fantasy, but it's more about shifters and pre-Romanian history from back when I was studying Romania, and before they were known as Romania, they were known as Dacia. So I did some of their folklore and history kind of combined, and I kind of created a series with that. And some of it takes place actually in and around Maryland too, because I created another part of their world that takes place in Maryland. So it works for that too.
That's very cool.
But I do have another book that I want to write in that series before I do some more paranormal. But I've had some great paranormal experiences recently that I would like to really start working on for another book in the Kingsmill series. So I think it would work really well for that.
Nice.
We'll have to take you on some investigations with us.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I would love to have some more investigations. I've done, like I said, I've done a few of them in the past, mostly Frederick. I've done some in Ellicott City and down in, did a couple in Ocean City. I've done, some down in, well, they were mostly ghost tours, but down in Savannah, Georgia.
Nice.
And I like to try different places and see what their history is all about too.
That's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. You'd be able to take areas that you go to
yeah.
and change it into a story and build on it. That's neat to be able to do that.
Especially Ellicott City. That's just stepping back in time, just going there.
Oh, I know.
The smells of Ellicott City, stepping into that time, you have to go.
Okay.
It's an amazing day trip.
It is. It is. And I used to do we used to do a book signing down there every October called Hollow Read. And it was so great because we would go on some of the tours down there. If you've never been to Ellicott City, the town is built almost into a cliff. The downtown area, the old downtown area, built into the cliffs. And so there's a lot of water, a lot of limestone, a lot of energy down there. So to have that, I know with those things, you have a lot of energy, live energy that can be created and help to bring about the paranormal.
One of our viewers has a question for you. Are you familiar with the story of Miller's Church?
Miller's Church. That sounds familiar. That's one of the local. Is that here in Maryland?
Not sure.
Okay.
Eric, where's that at?
Yeah, Eric, are you still there? Asking, where's that located? Miller's
And
Church.
there's Joanna says that's one of her favorite places to go. It's really cool. I do love Ellicott City.
It's in Hagerstown. It's in Hagerstown, he said.
It's in Hagerstown, Miller's Church. No,
Miller's Church.
I have to let you know I've only been in Hagerstown for about 4 years. I lived in Frederick for 26. So we moved out here recently, and I love the area. There's so much history in and around this area. Of course, Frederick has a lot of history too, but just finding out all the different parts and pieces. But I also found there's an old mill that's abandoned and kind of run down called Trovinger Mill nearby. And I took some pictures of it last year when I found out about it. And it's just great inspiration for, the King's Mill and the mill that I had for my character. So, there were a lot of mills and stuff around here at that time in our history. So, and they were a big part of our history here in Maryland. So
Eric said it's absolutely crazy. The story could make a good book.
So we'll have to introduce you to our friend Eric.
Yeah.
Yes. I would love to have him friend me on Facebook.
Right. You heard that, Eric. Eric's into a lot of macabre and stuff. He has some really interesting places he's been to, and it's kind of neat to see. So, it's near. Where's it set?
The Miller's Church near Leitersburg. Someone's asking.
I've been down the Miller's Church Road.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I think he's talking about Miller's Church Road, but I'm not
that
sure.
That does pull you in.
Eric,
down
which
there.
one are you talking about? The one in Leitersburg or the one in Hagerstown? Oh no, he said the one in Hagerstown.
Yeah.
So that's Miller's Church Road is what Eric's talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, we just drove down that road, me and a friend, and we were driving by, and we were like, "What's down there?" And we actually turned around and went down there because it just kind of draws you down.
Because you saw that abandoned.
There was
place,
like a little barn that was falling down, and I don't know, and the whole energy of that road just kind of pulled us down there.
Oh, neat.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah,
I'm going to have to check that out.
Yes, and Eric's a really good editor and storyteller, and he really delves into history.
Oh yeah. Now, see, that's what I really love when I'm researching. Like I said, when I'm researching paranormal and doing investigations, I want to know why. What were these people? What were these people doing? What were they like? What inspired them, or what caused them to?
Because we're going down the road, and there's a church steeple on the right hand side in like a pasture, and then there's a big crucifix. And I'm like, this is really weird. And then we turned around and we went back later that day, and on the left hand side there's this old cemetery. Old cemetery.
Okay, so it was like early 1700s, right?
Yeah. Well, mid to late 1700s into 1800. I mean, the headstones are very old, but it's just something. There's something there. There's something untold.
Very cool. Very cool. That, yes. I love old cemeteries. I really do. I get such a good vibe from them, as far as, I know that sounds weird, but they're beautiful.
They're beautiful. They're relaxing.
They are beautiful. They're a piece of history. I mean, they really do give you a sense of history and
forgotten history, forgotten
history, unfortunately at times. Yeah. But you have to remember that even, what is it? They were human too at one time. So.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, it's like people used to go there and have picnics out in the cemetery and everything else, and nobody does that anymore.
Yep.
I mean, nobody does that. So
I know. And there's so many that are so beautiful, and it's really kind of interesting. I know, but that was one of my things in my book. The cemeteries play a big role too. Just the history of it and the connection. So I find that kind of interesting, because I've found some beautiful cemeteries that, you know, I just have to let people know about in the books. So yeah, when you have great cemeteries to go to, it's always fun for me.
Absolutely. Have you been to Salem and just kind of walked around Salem?
That's one of my bucket lists, is going up there. I have not been to that part of the United States, and I really want to go up there.
It is amazing.
Every time I don't know if I'd be able to go up there at Halloween time with everybody else and their mothers. But
that's what you said. It's real busy.
Yeah, I used to go up like late spring, when you still had to have a jacket on a little bit.
Right.
Not too many tourists up there yet. It's quiet. You can walk through, meet the people, eat in the local restaurants, absorb some of the energy there.
Right. I know. I tried to go down to, I've been to New Orleans a couple of times, and it's just trying to absorb the energy and the feel of things. But a lot of times it's so many people that you just feel like you can't really get that vibe that you want to get. You have to find those quiet areas that really speak to you.
Right. You should go to Donner's Pass and write a book about Donner's Pass.
Oh. There's got to be a lot of a lot of energy there.
Yes.
Have you been out there?
I have not. That's like, there's two things on my bucket list that tops it. And that's right up there.
I've driven through it.
Oh,
that was interesting, especially the time of year we went through March. We went through Donner's Pass in March. Ooh. It was cold, and that's when Christina and I were coming out here. We took the northern route from California, because we used to live in California, and we took that as a northern route coming out to the East Coast, and it was very interesting. There's energy throughout the whole area. So I'm
sure.
Yeah, read what Billy just said.
William, are you talking about Miller's Church
Yes.
Road? Okay, so they claim there was satanic rituals on that property, he said.
Ooh, okay.
I'm assuming he's talking about the cemetery?
I wonder if it's a cemetery or where that church,
where the church was?
I'm thinking that's what he's talking about because I've heard something about something like that. There's a church down there that had
Billy, what are you talking about? The cemetery or the church?
Or where the steeple is. What, maybe they put the steeple there to protect themselves?
I don't know.
Now I'm intrigued.
I know, huh? Tell us
Even
more.
more.
Tell us more. Please.
I was going to say I don't know. Now I'm like, okay, do I want to go down there?
Don't go by yourself.
Yeah,
Go with a
No,
friend.
no.
Take your
Never
husband
go
with
by
you.
yourself.
Well, okay, come pick us up first, or we'll meet
Okay.
you there, and then we'll go together.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
Okay.
We can do that. We can do
It's a
that.
date.
That would be interesting.
That would be cool.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Would it be okay to go down there during the day and check it out first and then
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, they're saying he said that it's better to go during the day because at night they have motion detectors and lights and it's patrolled by the
And they're
police.
patrolled by the
Oh, okay.
police.
So-
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're keeping people from doing things they're not supposed to be doing at night down there. So
Right.
that's kind of
Oh,
interesting.
okay.
Well,
That's good that they do that.
hence the satanic rituals.
Yeah.
But look for the lights in the trees
Oh, so there's lights in the trees. Okay.
during the
Oh.
day.
No, during the night, he's saying.
Yeah,
You can drive by
but
and
if we
see
can't
the
do
lights.
it at night,
You can see them if you drive by at night because the lights in the trees.
Oh.
So
Oh, okay.
those might be fireflies.
it's a possibility. Never know. Or
That's
fairies.
funny.
Right? We have fireflies out here. It could be fireflies.
So you're an author. You've investigated. What other kind of hobbies do you have, or did you have as a child that tend to just work into all of the books, or maybe not? Do you do something kind of that we wouldn't expect for a hobby?
Well, other than a hobby, I really don't have a lot of time because I actually have a day job also. So when I come home, I escape by my other hobby, I guess you could say, is reading, because if I'm not writing, I'm reading. And I read everything from history books to biographies, but I love just escaping into other people's paranormal books or fantasy fiction. Sometimes I have a friend of mine who writes, a good friend who writes Regency romances. So occasionally I'll get into them. I'll just read whatever just kind of strikes my fancy. Occasionally I'll delve into, I read a year ago, I read The Nightingale, which is a phenomenal book about took place in World War II France, and some of the stuff that took place there with those that helped out with the troops and stuff. It was a phenomenal book. So like I said, I read all kinds of things when I'm reading. So that's my other hobby. Other than, having time with my granddaughter and my family, trying to make time for them. But writing is my escapism, and creating those characters and times and places that just takes me out of the real world for a little while.
Yep.
And I've always been one of those people that I think when I was younger too, and it's one of the things that I try and talk to other people about, is journaling. Helped me to become a better writer because I could sit and write things down, how I was feeling, how I was, how things affected me, whether it was the news, whether it was something that was going on in my own life, or just something that was going on around me. Sometimes I would go out in the woods and just write stories about my experiences out there. Sometimes I would go just find quiet times and spaces where I could write about things. But what happened to me as when I was younger was I would always write character scenarios in which I would put myself as a character and try and work my way through a problem. And that was a big help for me. And unfortunately or fortunately, it turned into stories a lot of times and books. And I think when I first started writing, I'm gonna say this. I was probably one of the first fanfics authors for Star Wars.
Okay,
Nice.
that's not a problem.
Well, you got him then.
Yeah.
I think I wrote Han and Leia's story before anybody else did.
Nice. That's cool.
Very cool.
But no, I just love taking characters and you know, making up people and situations that they had to fight themselves
Right.
out of.
How about a fictional book about like Dracula falling in love?
Oh.
And then him not being able to, right? To like bite her,
Yeah.
feed on her, right?
Or trying not to.
Try
fight
not
her.
to, right?
Trying not to change her into a vampire.
Right. And then maybe at the end she does be changed into a vampire so she can live with him forever or not.
Believe it
I
or
don't
not,
know.
there are a lot of romantic stories about that.
Oh, really?
Hello, Twilight.
Oh, and
That's a vampire book.
okay, then Bigfoot.
Some of
Bigfoot?
yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's a genre
Falling
that
in
hasn't
love?
been.
Yeah.
When
No,
they
that's a
do it?
genre that hasn't been tried. I
Or
mean, they've
cryptid,
done
that's
dinosaur.
cryptid.
Let's see,
Cryptid
they've
or
done
something.
dinosaur romances. They've done alien
Really?
romances.
Oh, Alien would be cool.
I never heard of a
Um,
dinosaur romance though. That's that's
I'm like, where
Tyrannosaurus
did that
Rex.
come from?
I mean,
I'm like,
Oh.
that's
I don't know
okay.
about that, but
I don't know, but a
Okay,
cryptid
that
book would be
that
cool.
yeah.
yeah.
I think yeah.
I'm
I
like,
think Bigfoot
what?
romance would be kind of interesting.
Mhm.
The woman in the
But no,
house that's scared
Bigfoot?
by him and he attacks. He comes in, knocks on the door, and they meet up. Ah.
That's funny.
So,
um,
was there anything that got you in the paranormal? Anything experience that turned you to kind of investigate? Did you have something that happened as a child or as an older adult or in your military career that came across that did something?
well, it's really kind of funny that you ask that because I did have a situation other than my sister-in-law getting me to read some of Anne Rice's books at the time.
Oh boy.
Um,
Um,
yeah. I did have a couple of experiences. I had my first duty station. I was in the Navy. I was stationed down in Annapolis, and I had never been down there before. Never even knew remotely what the place looked like. And I barely even knew where I was going when they told me I was going to Annapolis for my first duty station. But I walked downtown one day from the academy, and it was the first time I'd ever walked downtown, and I knew exactly where I was. I knew the
Oh.
buildings.
So it was
And I'm-
familiar.
like
And
a
I'm
deja
like-
vu type thing.
And I'm like, why do I've never been here before.
I love Annapolis. It's gorgeous.
And I'm just like, but something in me said that I had. So I believe
Wow.
in, the time shifting and things like that. Wonderful movie and book that I love. It's called Somewhere in Time.
Fine.
Mhm.
That was a good movie too.
Yes. It's based on the book by Richard Matheson called Bid Time Return.
Mhm.
And I loved the fact that here's two people from different time periods, and he's going back into time to find her. And I just love that aspect because I always believed that we are not, I believe that we've always been around and just in another life, in another
Mhm.
life.
Absolutely.
So why not? And when I experienced the situation in Annapolis, and I experienced, just different things like that, I believe that there's more out there that I need to write about that hasn't been explored, other than in a paranormal or metaphysical way.
I get that
So-
same thing when I go to Gettysburg.
Yeah,
First
the
time.
vibration of love lives on.
Yeah.
It's eternal.
Oh, yeah, it is. It is. And Gettysburg was another place where I just felt, and every time I go there, I don't care how many times I've gone there, I get that feeling of just that connection.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good feeling for me. It really is. Some people might think that's strange, but I believe that there's a good connection there.
Oh, I agree with that. That's why I moved to this area. It calls you back.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
Definitely
It does. And I've lived so many places all over this country, but I've never felt as connected as I've felt to this area of Maryland. Any other place. I mean, this has been the longest place I've lived somewhere in this lifetime, anyway.
Right. It's your foundation now.
Yep. So
Very cool.
So I do believe in that. I do believe in that, and I feel very close and connected. And I think that's how come I love to write about this area, because there's so much history and there's so much energy here.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much historical energy and live energy, I guess you could say, that there's so much here to write about and to explore.
When you feel like you belong, it's different to
Yes.
be living there.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We'll have to take you on our history walk through Waynesboro as soon as it gets nice out.
Oh, yes, because I know I've only been through Waynesboro and connected with Waynesboro for about a year or so, and it's a wonderful, wonderful town. The people there are wonderful that I've met. So I love it. I love it. It's really nice. I keep wanting to just come up there all the time and just go downtown and check out things. And you have a great library system down there.
Oh,
The
we do.
history. I can't wait to learn about all the history and stuff that's going on down there.
There's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. And I hear somebody might know a lot of the history because she's connected with it there. So
Yes.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, we'll take you on a history walk. You're going to be like, what?
It's
That
amazing
sounds
the history in this town, that some people that live here don't even know what happened in the town or what was going on or anything else. And us moving here, it was just amazing just to dive into the history and understand what was going on in this area and what happened in this area. And it's kind of neat to be able to live in the same area that you learned about. And it's just moving out to the East Coast, back to the East Coast is always something interesting. I always love the area, no matter what,
it's a great area. I feel just a great connection with it. So, and the people, they're wonderful. So the connection between the history and I never thought I would, because I've been all over this country. I've lived in every place from northern Michigan to Texas and everywhere in between. But when I came out here to Maryland and this area, I knew that this was home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They say that Maryland is America in miniature because there's everything in Maryland.
Yes, I think so too.
Not a desert.
Not a desert. But they have everything from.
You don't want a desert.
We lived in the high desert. You don't want to live there. It's horrible.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
It's too dry.
Well, it got really cold too.
It got cold at night,
well.
and then it got really hot during the day during the summer.
Mm-hmm.
So
was that out in California or was that?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
out in California.
Yeah. My stepdad lived out in Arizona for a while, and my mom lived with him for a couple of years until they moved back to Michigan, and it was like, it's a dry heat.
not anymore.
Now it's 115 degrees. Heat is
Yeah, I'm like, I'm sorry. It's an oven. It's a brick oven.
When you walk outside and open your mouth to talk, and it's like so dry, it's so hot that you can't talk. You're like,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's too hot.
Have you ever written a book about a famous location? Or is there a location that you want to get to see if it inspires you for a book?
A famous location. Actually, I haven't really written about a famous location. In my other books, my other series, I was with my husband in Germany for about 3 or 4 months at a time, and I was writing about some of the areas around there. But I picked up some of the, like the countryside and some of the different areas that we were there. We were in there, but I think actually one of my books does have an interesting town of Nuremberg that we had gone and we had stayed in, and I did a lot of historical research there. And that town has a lot of history. And I used some of that in one of my books. But other than that, I really haven't written anything about certain areas as far as big areas. I would love to write something out in the... I have this idea for a book and I've been working on it and it just didn't come through, but out at Dodge City, out in the Old West. I had a fascination for that too at one time in my life, and I was writing a story about it. And my girls, when they were younger, went to one of those photo places and took the saloon girl photos. And when they brought it home, I said, I have a whole new inspiration for a storyline.
Right.
So I kept trying to get that started, but it just never worked. And a friend of mine who's my writing mentor, she said, no, Loni, you need to go back to the paranormal. You need to work on your paranormal books again.
But you can manipulate that into paranormal.
You can.
The Dodge City.
Yes.
With the history and stuff out there. That's like
I know.
Tombstone's another that's like that. And that's an amazing place too.
Yes.
The stuff that goes on there.
Tombstone has a lot of paranormal
stuff.
Oh yeah. And that's one of my things that I would love to do when I'm retired from my other job, my day job, is to go out just exploring, the Western states again, and like the old mining towns that are now ghost towns, Tombstone, Dodge City, Durango out in Colorado, and a lot of the old mining towns. So much there, much there. But again, that's my history too. I love the history of all the things, and anything that has any kind of paranormal or that could have paranormal aspects to it. That'd be great.
If you want to go even further, you can even go to Europe, Scotland, Ireland.
Oh,
it's so much older than America.
I know. Well, that was what fascinated me about Germany. Is here you have these castles and these places that are, we went to some of the baths and stuff that had been there since Roman times. Right. And realizing that they're like 700 years old or more, and you're like, yeah, we're just babies over here.
Yeah. I mean, the people that have touched those walls,
right?
Yeah.
And we've got the American Stonehenge over here. So when I was in Massachusetts for a week doing other things, look up the American Stonehenge. It's really cool. Very, very, yes. Yeah. It's I don't want to give anything away. You have to go there. You get you get a movie before you go, then you actually go out and walk the grounds.
Not like Stonehenge over in England where you don't even get to go close. You
don't. We went 2 years ago to Stonehenge. I mean, it's humongous, but you can't get anywhere close to it. You can't get anywhere. They have it roped off. Right. Yeah. You can't touch them, or I mean,
and I think that's kind of sad in a way. Yeah, I think that's sad in a way because you lose so much.
You do. I mean, I would have loved to have touched a stone that's
all you wanted to do is go back in time to
no,
Outlander.
that's
all you
Cray
wanted.
Ledoux, and I'm sure Jamie Fraser would have not been on the other one. He's still with Claire. Sorry. Dang it.
I was going to say Outlander. Yep.
Oh, yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, those are things that fascinate me. Are there portals? Are there portals around here?
I wouldn't doubt it.
There's got to be something. There's got to be something. I mean, come on, The Simpsons approved it.
They have a time machine.
They have a time machine. Somebody has one somewhere, somehow.
How can they predict all this stuff happening?
I know. Oh.
So how many books have you actually written, like in total?
I have 9 that are out.
Wow.
And I have, I actually have one that's out temporarily there's an anthology out called Magic at Midnight. And I have a story in there. So it's actually going to be turned into a novella that I'm going to be able to publish myself. So I have the rights to it. So it's going to come out probably this Halloween. I think I'm going to have that out too. But it's part of the King's Mill series, and it was just a lot of fun that I wrote over the. We were doing it for the Halloween time frame as a conglomeration of authors. There was 5 authors that all joined together, and we did this this book, and it was just a lot of fun. Unfortunately, it's only available on ebook. And because if not, it would be a huge book about this big, because we all wrote about 50,000 words or more.
Wow. So how many of your books will you have available for your table at the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash?
I am going to have definitely the whole Crossroads of Kings Mill series, including hopefully the one that I was just telling you about. I hope to have that in a novella form. And also I'm going to try and have my other series there too. It's kind of hard to have both series sometimes because there's so many books, but it's great because some people might not like the history and ghosts, and they're more into shifters or vice versa. So I will say this shifter series is a little more risque as far as the romantic interludes, if you will say. Whereas Crossroads of Kings Mill is more behind closed doors.
You have to use your imagination.
Yes, but there are some scenes that are, that can lead up to, how they interact with each other. So, so yeah. But yeah, my other series is a little more heated, I guess you could say.
Gotcha.
So you're self-publisher. So how hard is it to get into self-publishing your books? Is it a very difficult situation to get into it, or is it pretty easy nowadays?
It's fairly easy going through Amazon. Amazon is very easy to work with. Amazon, and there's other programs out there and other publishers, self-publishing groups. Draft to Digital is another great one that I'm part of. And they do everything from Barnes and Noble to Kobo and some of the other outlets for your books, whereas Amazon is strictly Amazon, which they do a good portion of sales for themselves. But the hardest part is finding a good editor, because that is always so important. I don't care how many times you read your book, you need to have a good editor,
right,
who can be honest and tell you exactly, and a good team of beta readers, people who are willing to just read your books and go, Yeah, you don't have, in this page she had brown eyes, and in this one she has blue eyes. You need consistency here. And I'm like,
right.
Oh, yeah, okay. Because little things like that will make a difference to a reader. A real reader will pick things out, and especially 2 books later go, she can't be doing this because that didn't happen at this time.
Right. I actually, I have an author friend of mine that she always sends ARCs to me, me and some other people. So she used to be self-published, and then she actually wrote a series that she got a publisher with, and now they're trying to make that series into a movie.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah. So now she's
Nice.
really excited about that. But
Oh,
she has it's Mary Ting. And her first book I read was Crossroads. So you would probably like it because it's a guardian angel that falls in love with his person that he's actually protecting. Fantastic series. So, and that was like, I've met her a couple times. Great lady, but the Isan series is the one that she's got published that they're going to turn into a movie.
That's Crossroads?
Yeah, Crossroads by Mary Ting.
And what's the other one's name?
Oh, her Risque books?
Is it Ice?
Oh, Isan. ISAN is the series that she's done that's going to be in movies. And then she also goes by M. Clark, which are kind of her X-rated books.
Okay.
Oh, that's what you're reading. Okay.
No, I'm not reading those right now.
Not right now.
Not right now. They're on my Audible, but I'm not reading them right now.
Yeah, I get in the car and I'm like, what are you listening to?
You don't want to know.
They said what?
They're doing what? How?
Well, thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I really had a great time tonight, and I hope to do some paranormal investigations and getting together and finding out some of those areas that we were all talking about. That would be phenomenal.
And we should go wine tasting together.
Yes, yes. You need to come on.
Meet over there.
Yes. I'm just down the road from you, so come on over and we'll meet at the Stone House, or come on up and
let's do it.
Hey, that might have been the one we were looking at. In what, Pennsylvania Market?
Yes, it's across the street from
Yeah, that's the one.
Yes.
Oh, we should go there.
Yes.
Oh,
we're
yeah.
gonna do it. We're gonna do
It's
it.
meant to be.
Yes.
Yes, please come on by. They're open Wednesdays through Sundays, so, and they have usually on Sunday afternoons they have some great live music, and just have a lot of just sitting, chilling, and having some good wine. They have some great wines. So,
cool.
So it sounds like a great time. Hope to see you all there too.
Absolutely.
But
would you like to put a plug in where you can get your books and everything?
Yes. You can get my books on Amazon, through also Barnes and Noble. And if you want any of my books paperback, you can also buy them at the Stonehouse Urban Winery in Hagerstown.
Wonderful.
Right. And you'll be at the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. So you'll
be
signing the books.
We're going to be doing that in July. So I will be there for that. I am so excited about being there again. That is such a phenomenal time. So for all of you who haven't been out there, you need to go out there. That's a great event.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see you before then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Hopefully, yes.
Yes.
Like a few months away. So
yes, we'll see you before then.
At the winery. Yeah, at the winery. They have to do. We have to drink wine before July.
Oh yeah,
I'd die.
We'll do it maybe
Nothing
next
ever
week or the
stops
weekend.
Nothing ever stops them from drinking wine.
this weekend, next weekend, just whenever.
Tomorrow.
All right. Tomorrow, tonight,
Okay.
in a few days.
Well, they might be closed. They might be closed now, but tomorrow night, yeah, come on out.
Well, thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Well, thank you all so much. I had
Thank
such
you.
a great time.
Good chatting.
It was wonderful. It was wonderful seeing you all.
All
Y'all
right.
take
All
care.
right.
Take
Good
care.
night.
You
See
too.
you soon.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye now. Well, guys, thanks for tuning in tonight. And you guys have anything to say in last bits?
No, it was fun.
That's
That's
all,
my
folks.
first podcast.
Guys,
Really?
he's not here. He's not here tonight. So remember what Steve always says: when you see a veteran, thank him out there.
Yep, absolutely.
And appreciate what they've done. So when you see a vet, thank them. So I want to say thank you for everybody, and thanks for you guys coming on and helping out tonight. We have a Dinosaur King. He's got the man flu. The other one, he's floating around.
I hope Andrew feels better.
Yeah, Andrew
Yes,
feel better. So I appreciate it, guys, and we'll see you next time, and we'll have some more stuff coming on. So have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.